Hello and welcome to Cyber Diaries podcast. Today, an episode with Moty. My name is Marius and I'm your host. I'm CISO of Global Financial Services, as well as I run MP Cybersecurity Services. So I'll let Moty introduce himself.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you, Marius.
Brilliant. So Moty, I just wanted to, first of all, if you can just briefly describe what is SURF, what you guys are currently doing, and then we'll start to explore a bit about your company and your journey into being one of the co-founders of the company.
So SURF is trying to solve a very fundamental problem that exists in cybersecurity: how user and employees, contractors access company resources, and we are trying to do it in an elegant way. We are trying to make it be frictionless. We are trying to make it be fast. We are trying that it will be super secure. And literally what we are trying to do is to allow CISO to take full control about the security tool that is now called the browser. So we allow them to manage the browser and actually take the browser and make it part of the security tools arsenal. So everything is done in the browser, in addition to other protocols like SSH and RDP. We allow the CISO to support. So we create like an isolated environment inside their employees or inside the BYOD customers.
Brilliant. So, if we explore a bit your background, obviously, you amassed quite a lot of experience in senior security leadership. You've gone all the way to being the, Chief Information Security Officer for several companies. So, recently, our good friend published a book about for cyber builders by, Ross, which highlighted some of the important, information, how one should go about, when they either founding or building a cybersecurity company. But, when you started out, the information around this was pretty scarce. So yeah. I just wanted to, if you can briefly highlight, how was your journey from CISO to a boardroom and co-founder of, cybersecurity company, and what helped you along the way, to make the flourishing company that it is now?
Yeah. So Ross' book is amazing. It's really like putting like a plan what you need to do in order to build a cybersecurity startup, especially for a practitioner. So I was always in the buyer side. So I was a practitioner myself, and as a practitioner, what you see in many cases is that you have a problem and you need to solve it. So you find a solution that gives an answer or a patch for this solution. When we started and thinking about SURF, we were thinking, okay, we need to create a platform that based on this platform, you can add capabilities like DLP, CASB, and other capabilities to put it into this place. The change is pretty much different. So as a CISO, you are seeing the world about, what is the bad, what is your attack surface, what is your let's say resilience of the company. And as a founder, you actually half of your time use in recruiting people or doing sales and moving on to get their first client, to raise money from VCs. So it's super interesting journey. It's something that I think that everyone can learn. And it's fascinating. The first step, I think, is to find the right co-founder, the people that will work together with you. And I'm very happy that, I have Ziv, my CTO, working with us along the way.
Okay, brilliant. You kind of touched a bit about sales, recruitment. So, talking to a few, founders, when you start a company, I think, obviously the team that surrounds you will be the crucial that you either make it or break it. And I think, the first 10, 15 people that you hire can potentially transform your success. So how did you guys base your decisions, on hiring when you started out? Obviously, having probably a network of people helps, but how did you guys go about, assessing whether it's a character? What was the main, important points in that journey?
So we were lucky to have some people that join us, programmers, coders, and the technical side that were already our employees. From our team, from our previous companies. These people were willing to join us to the new journey. So they were trusting us, even that they had high cut in the salary, and they help us to build what's SURF today with their experience. So that was one of the things. The other thing was that we were looking for people that maybe not are the top 10 or the people that had C-level experience, but people that had commitment. People that had commitment, they love it. They wanted to join this company because it fits their vision. They wanted to join a company that is growing. And usually I would prefer someone that have commitment than that someone that has, a big experience in one company. But again, if you had an amazing experience in one company, doesn't mean that will happen again in a startup. And people are different in different phases of the company. So especially from the start, when you're a startup, I think you want people that really put all their efforts into your vision, and they want to make it running. They want to execute it, and they can learn fast. So if someone have a commitment and he can learn fast, even though that you will define him as a junior, he can bring a lot of value to the company. And these people later, they are the leadership team of the company.
Yeah, I think it's very important, and I really like the idea. I think when you think about, I guess, in the early start, the attitude and the aptitude and willingness of people to learn, that can really help you and make them shine, because those people will make the big difference. If we go back to Surf and the product that you guys built, you guys are going and addressing sort of zero trust browser security issues. So I just wanted to, if you can pick up and expand on what challenges have you guys seen, and what challenges does your company currently solve for your clients?
So one of the challenges we saw that first, there is a lot of security tools in every organization. In some places, enterprise can have more than 21 agents. We have one of the kind have 21 agents on each endpoint. That make work a bit hard. Now, if you look about this in the way that they connect, or contractors or BYOD or employees need to connect to company resources, sometimes they have a VPN, sometimes they use a zero trust solution that they need to connect to authenticate each time, or some other places they use VDI or RBI solution like Citrix. And this created some tension between the employees that literally just want to work, or contractors that just want to access the information, into the security team. And I was thinking how we can collapse all the security staff into one single control point, what it will be. So this is the browser. The browser is the most used application. There are billions of users that use it every day. And instead of putting the security outside the browser, why not make it part of some of the processes inside the browser, before and after, for example, the blink process. And if we do it inside the browser, we can actually decide what to render and what not. So we created a solution that is actually allowing you, the browser, to decide, hey, this code looks suspicious, I'm not going to render it. This code doesn't follow the company policy, right? And we will mask the information. So someone in the support center or tech center, even if he has access to a database now, he will not see information that is listed as PII, so he cannot take it. So we created an isolated environment that make it smart on the endpoint. So there is no gateways, no servers. If we are down, the user continue to work, so it's directly from the browser, and the browser can make decisions. So the browser doesn't need to wait for a cloud answer, or to any person in the SOC to decide if this is a phishing website or not. It can be based on the information that you have now, decide that, hey, I'm blocking this attack. And doing this, we actually provide two things that me as a CISO, and I was like around 24 years in the cybersecurity as a practitioner, and I had a challenge for two things many years. One of them is the phishing, and the second one is the malware. And with Surf today, I think we do 100% coverage. There is no phishing possibility with our tool. Everyone that click on the link, he cannot go into a phishing website. We actually prevent it from taking any information from the user automatically when we know it's a phishing. So you can also whitelist which domain. We also have a very nice way to understand using AI if this website is malicious or not. And we are the only web company that do categorization based on AI. The other thing is based on malware. We can have a full control about what is being scanned, where it's being scanned, So we can encrypt the file when they are going on. We can allow user just to see the file that he's been downloading. So you can edit it without even downloading it to your computer, but we also allow user to download locally, and then we encrypt it. We can also set idle time. So this file can be deleted if 2 weeks the user is not touching the file. So when we had these challenges, when people created this tension of a lot of tools, the solution was with Serve.
Yep. And then I wanted to pick up, obviously, I guess COVID was the big event in the world, but it changed, I guess, the people and the way they work. So obviously we went from, I guess at the edge of security, and all of a sudden there was a large mass of remote workforce. And all of a sudden, your normal edge security tools didn't help you. So did you guys, envisage that? And did you guys think about the product roadmap, how those particular problems, how you can help companies secure their remote workforce?
Yeah, so we look in different ways. So there is manage and unmanaged. And literally just before COVID, all the companies have some kind of DR in case they need to work from home, and they needed to execute it. And when they executed, they saw that the solution that they had until then, the VDI or the VPN, there is cost in productivity and there is cost in security. So it's not enough. So this is where we came. We actually came to give an answer for remote access for employees for managed or unmanaged device. So we think that, again, still people here, for example, in London, it's still people working hybrid mode, 2 or 3 days at the office, and the other, they work from home. And I think it's going to stay with us. People got used to it, and companies also love it. It creates a lot of sense because they can measure performance of employees in other ways. What we see in the future of remote workforce, my prediction is that there will be only one tool, and it will be that you have a Surf or any other enterprise browser that allow you to connect into the company resource directly from your endpoint. That means we created an isolated environment that can use to browsing, it can use for other protocols, and then you can access files and resources and share them or work on them. And then you go back without creating any information stay on your own laptop or on information that the company allows. So this way we allow you the access, but we're reducing the risk completely that if now my computer gets hacked or it's BYOD, it doesn't have a security solution, it doesn't affect the company risk. So even if I got hacked, we had clients that had a malware on the computer, but they cannot access this environment. So Surf creates its own environment inside the endpoint. And this way, because everything is encrypted, we had an additional layer to the existing security that exists inside Chromium. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay, brilliant. And then I just wanted to pick up, you touched on BYOD. So I guess, any security leader, I guess, who, a business might have made the decisions, from leadership that say, oh, we want to enforce our workforce and potentially, do BYOD, or which is bring your own device. And there's obviously a plethora of problems in those deployments, because securing someone's device, or putting an agent on someone's personal device, it creates an ethical issues and boundaries where organizations doesn't really know how to solve. So I just wanted to see if you guys can help and address potentially problems of BYOD devices, and how does that, how can you secure that workforce?
Yeah, so this is our main use case, the BYOD. 10 years ago, when I was a CISO, if someone came to me and told me, listen, we want to bring our own device, there was a very short policy of a paragraph that say there is no BYOD allowed in the company. So you don't allow to bring your own device, you don't allow to bring your own laptop and connect it with the system. Users succeed to overlap it, in a way. For example, the out of web access. So allow them to bypass it in that way or another until Microsoft blocked it, so they can access with their own credential and then see emails from their personal device. They can download stuff. So in many cases, the problem was there, but let's say a lot of people were ignoring it. Mm-hmm. And this, together with another big problem like shadow IT, created the second stage of the problem. So in my opinion, BYOD is something that today, 50% of the company device are BYOD. Today in the UK, in USA, people want to use their own device, their own mobile phone, their own iPad, their own laptops in order to connect to the organization. And of course, contractors. If you think about this, to ship now a laptop to a contractor, or just that he will be dedicated to connect to one organization, it's a hassle. To give them a specific license for video Citrix is also a hassle. So with our solution, they can give him the same security level and allow him just in one click to download our browser. And this is the only way to access. We didn't see any rejections from users installing Surf. We are not spying on the user. We are just allowing them to access. It's just like a VPN tool, allowing them to access the company resource. If user is doing anything he wants on his private or other browser, we don't have the ability to look at this, and we are not harming his privacy in any way.
That I wanted to touch as well. I guess, it probably goes into BYD, goes into remote workforce, but I guess another probably big problematic use case, some of the companies that are building proprietary tools, proprietary code, intellectual property is a big thing. And obviously, knowing how some organizations struggle to solve data loss prevention challenges, I guess Surf again can help organizations to do that.
Yeah, so many organizations have some of the development team outside the country. So it's maybe in other countries that are not regulated, like in the same country that they are. And this creates, in some cases, as you mentioned, like IP issues and others. So you want to allow a specific team from one country to access a specific part of your code. So we can allow, using our zero trust access, to just one path inside the URL for any application. So even if you had your own application, not SaaS, inside your own data center, we can control who can access it, what is being accessed, and then we can create, your own policy, security policy that you can apply. What happened when user is accessing this information? This way, developers, which we see a lot of use cases, they can work with GitHub or with any other tools, and they can code inside the browser or outside the browser, and we can control what information being downloaded. We can apply, the simple DLP stuff, copy, paste, printing, screen sharing, so we can prevent data leakage. But on the other hand, we can also, for example, if there is hard-coded inside the code a key, we can, of course, mask it. So the user, if you see it by mistake, it's not creating any harm in that way.
Brilliant. And I guess just going back to company and its creation, I just wanted to pick on we talked a bit about journey, but when you created a company, obviously in its success it becomes a journey, and to be successful you obviously have to get clients. So how was the journey to attracting the first client, and how did you guys get over that hurdle?
So we are part of Cyber Kingdom, the CISO group here in the UK. And I was doing like more than, I think, 150 calls with CISO, including yourself, to ask them before we started, what do you think about the idea? What features you would like to see? What problem it solves you? So the first thing you do is the market validation. Second, right afterwards, you want to create a team that can actually build it. So there is a huge technology challenge, especially when you build something based on Chromium. You need to know the exact places where you want to put your code without creating any problem in another place. So our team already built a browser. My co-founder already built a browser that is being used by many banks today. So taking his knowledge, after we had the first, let's say, mock-up, we were like testing one feature. So for example, the first feature we had was a problem that I had is the extension management. So user in my previous job used to bypass security tools like Swag using extensions.
Yep.
So how you can allow company to manage the extension. So that was one of the first area we saw. And then we were speaking again with more CISOs to get from them the feedback. After people saw that, hey, that's creating some value, we were like giving them to try it for free to give us, their feedback. We had, first version, second version. We didn't want to get out to the market when it's not 100% polished. Of course, you always fix stuff on the way. You always add more features. You always add more capabilities. But we built it in such modular way that there is a platform, and on top of the platform, you can add features and new modules. So when everything wants synchronize, so it's make a lot of sense to especially to the users when they are connecting to system, and CISO like it. So the first person saw it and said, okay, listen, I'm now trying it. It's a trial. I want to use it now for my security team, or I want to use it for my executive. Some people wanted to use the browser for the external contractors, for the developers. And one customer told the other. So if I want to have happy customers, and we really want to see what is the value that we created for them. And then after you have more than 10 customers, you actually see, okay, there is the product market fit. Where is the product market fit? Replacing PDI, remote employees. So that's the places when you have, for unmanaged device, you can give a full browser. For companies that have more managed device and they control and they have other tools like EDR or MDM on this device that they control, we are offering an extension that can sit on existing browser like Chrome or Edge.
Mm-hmm. And then I just wanted to pick up one thing as well. We touched a bit about policies and defining how you want to secure browser, I guess, within your estate. The one thing I guess which would be interesting to get your views is, obviously every organization will have different requirements in how they want to protect their data, how they want to protect and secure their endpoints. But you touched on policy, so I assume obviously you can define how and what you want to protect, and it's fully customizable to your environment. Therefore, you can define specific use cases of where you want to protect, as you say, copy and paste, where you want to protect this and that based on applications, based on specific use cases in your environment.
So there are two sides. On one side, there are the users, like you can decide by one user, by group of users, or the whole company. So you can, it's very easy to define. There is simplified policy that we created. So you can see the groups that already exist inside your identity management provider. We support all the identity management provider. And on the other hand, you see the application. It can be SaaS application, it can be web application, it can be SSH server or SREs and DevOps, but it also can be on-prem or data center. And we allow you to connect to each one of them by a set of policy that you can configure. So you can configure, I want to allow this group of DevOps to access the SSH in this system through the browser. And on the other hand, you can define for, for example, Salesforce, I want people for my sales team to be able to access only this area and they can see whatever they want. And then here I have a customer service team or help desk team. And for them, I would like to use different. So everything that they access, they are not allowed to see anything that is PII. So I can allow them to access, for example, Zendesk, but everything will be masked. Okay? So that everything that is like confidential and or private information, we can automatically detect it and be masked. And for example, for managed device, for employees, you can use our automatic web categorization. So you can block porn or malicious website, and you can prevent them from putting their credential in phishing website. So this way you can also define, of course, blocking of files or scanning files with VirusTotal. This is what we are using. So you can prevent any kind of, let's say, malicious or malware to be downloaded to the endpoint.
Okay, so it looks like it's a great solution because obviously it's I guess it could sit and help other tools like your email gateways. We touched about phishing, and obviously, I guess still loads of organizations are wrangling with phishing because I guess sometimes people forget that you can't expect people to never click on links. Whatever policy you're gonna write, it's impossible to prevent and it's very hard to secure. So I guess it's a great solution to to help and further advance your security in your environment. And I think it's, as you say, it's very customizable. And I think the group things is very important. And I guess it's based, as you mentioned, it's probably based on whitelisting. So obviously
Yeah.
you can protect around everything because you only define what is allowed. Everything else is blocked in terms of access.
Exactly. So phishing is a good example. No matter what you will do, how much time you will spend about, working with the user, there's still like depends about what is the level of phishing campaign that you run and awareness campaign you run in the company. That's really between 1 to 2% of the user that will still go to this email and will click on this and will go to the website. And I saw that SOC, especially the SOC analysts, they're checking inside the SIEM, did they click on the link or not?
Yeah.
Like they're wasting like 80% of the time. Like I said, I don't care if they click on the link. Let them click on the link. That doesn't really matter because we created like an isolated environment. They are just reflecting what is the pixel that exists on the website.
Yep.
So even if the user see it and he wants to put his company credential, he can. We will block him. We will even prevent him from being sent. So this way we can allow like 100% coverage and prevention of phishing, downloading a malicious content, or putting their money or information in a malicious website. One of the smart things that we built that people like to use also for the private stuff, we can detect in the website if they're using like a malicious code or libraries that are vulnerable. So when the user will try to put his credit card or his other information or company information, we will not allow it to happen. And then we will send it to the company. We will alert it to allow him to do it. Same go with, for example, extensions. We can also, for example, salary payroll improvement. We can ask for another MFA. You can do transactional MFA for a specific URL. So you can add other layers of security, and it's all in one product. Everything is done inside the browser.
So it looks like it even could potentially, if you being smart about it, we all heard about recent news that somebody, was in a meeting, in a deepfake meeting, that approved the $25 million spend when they shouldn't have. So I guess if you put checks and balances and governance within the browser, you could potentially solve some of these problems too.
So I don't want to destroy the news. We are working on something here. So we actually now building a capability inside the browser that we can detect fake AI online, why it's happened. So we use the WebRTP in order to analyze, and then we can understand if this is a fake avatar or it's a fake person, and then we can alert the other users that someone here is using voice regeneration and malicious stuff. Yep. So that's something that we can do. I don't want to destroy it for the marketing team.
Sounds like a great path. And I guess, to finish off the last question, that's where I wanted, without, as you say, spilling too much marketing beans, I guess, where do you see the browser security market sort of moving toward this and next year? And what do you see, how the trend's going to shape up in cybersecurity in your specific product category?
So I think that today more and more companies are willing to say, oh, this is like a new tool that can help us to reduce cost. So if they look in ROI, we can save up to 90% of what they are paying today for existing solution like VDI, etc. I see it evolving to be one platform. That means that in addition, when you look at the enterprise, of course, there is a service side and production side, but on the endpoints, that will be the only tool. You will not need to have an EDR. You will not need to have any other solution, just a browser that is isolated. And you literally, I don't want to say don't care what happened beside it, because the information cannot get out. If the user needs to access the browser, to access the information, they must authenticate to the browser. Yep. And only then they can access the company resources. And by using one tool that have so much capabilities, I think that that's going to be like 25% of the companies are going to use it. We see more and more companies that are looking at this and saying, oh, wow, that's something that really we think about this use case. Like we have merger and acquisition here. We're seeing companies that use it for compliance So they want the SOC 2 Type 2 or ISO 27001. Companies that are looking to have more visibility about what's going on inside the networks, and companies that want to collapse all the security stack into one point. So it's make for them a lot of sense. And after people try to use it, again, this is our best, let's say, sales or marketing campaign, is that they recommend it to their friend.
And I guess, some of our potential listeners who might have not heard about the tool, we potentially, obviously, there is Surf Security website, but if someone sees a potential use cases where they could potentially explore or test the tool, should someone go about, and how do you contact you guys, where they can find you and start working with you?
So the easy way, as you mentioned, is to go to Surf Security. You can start a free trial there. It's using our extension capability, so you can download the extension from Home Store, and then you can install it on your computer, and then you can test it up to 5 users for free. If you want to take it further and to see the full browser capability, that also there is a link there that you can download and be in touch with us. We were happy to take you to a demo and to show you how things working. So it's pretty much, the installation is, when it's done with existing distribution tools, it's less than 50 minutes to install across the company.
Okay, sounds great. So thanks. My name is Marius, and I've been your Cyber Diaries host. Thank you for Moty for having us in episode number 2. So
thank you, Marius.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure to be with you here.